If y'all knew how many of these men that y'all lay down with every night are laying down with other men, and then when they're done laying down with those men, they are coming back home to you and your kids, you would be in shock. All your everyday hood niggas from the hood who are passing as if they're straight. Be careful. Don't just be out here falling for the okie doke, okay? A lot of these men don't like you, and that's why they're arguing up and down with you every single day and shit like that, because they really like men. Bottom line, they're tired of dealing with you. They want to go deal with them hard legs. If I even suspect that a man is interested in other men, or he does anything that even makes me think it, he's out. We hear these types of stories all the time, but it is so real. I got a phone call that prompted me to get on Twitter today. And it was a page that was made by somebody right here in my city. And what I saw on that page, absolutely terrifying. So many of the people on that page that I know, that I've grown up with, I went to school with, all hood niggas. Every last one of them. And they are taking pictures. They are writing in these guys' inboxes so that they can figure out how much these guys are charging for favors. It is absolutely insane. These men have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. They have women that they've been with for years. If you are okay with that type of thing, that is fine. Keep moving. This post is not for you. This post is strictly for women who don't want any parts of that. They don't want anything to do with that. I am one of those women. I cannot risk playing like that. I know that a lot of women want love so bad that y'all are willing to find love in every single space, in every single place, but I'm here to tell y'all that it's too risky. When I made that post weeks ago, a month or so ago, I can't find that many men that I'm attracted to, and this is one of the very reasons. A lot of these men do not like women. They are using women as a ploy. Having a woman is the cover-up. It is to push the illusion that they are straight because they are too coward to deal with coming out of the closet and saying, hey, I like men. Out like that, a lot of us would respect it more. But to be putting these women's lives, women that y'all claim that y'all love, putting their lives in jeopardy, like, that is crazy. These men are popping out babies every other year. But they don't like women. They like men. They like the look of women. They are messaging these men so that they can meet up, asking them how much for the favors. Like, all hood niggas. We have got to be more careful out here. We have got to use our discernment. I have friends and their brothers are in those messages and posting those pictures of themselves. Whoever the person is behind the page is making these people take pictures of themselves before they do anything with them. And the guys are taking the pictures.
I once heard a lady tell me that, don't worry, sis, he's not mad at you, he's mad at himself. He's mad that he can't be himself. He's mad that he has to deal with you. And also the society that pressurizes him to be with you. Not that I was in an intimate relationship with a man like that, but it's how a man would react whenever he sees with a woman or he's interacting with women. Like, why are you mad consistently and so passionately mad for no reason? Like, there's another lady who also told me, the very same lady, who said that men would literally have like 4 demons. She mentioned them, and being attracted to men secretly, attracted to your bros, is one of those things. Like, there'll be men who are not really into you. They are pursuing your children. That's what she said. She's like, they're literally not into you. I don't have a child, by the way. I'm just making a conversation, guys, please. Now, it's like, this man would not be into you, but because he sees you with a girl child or a boy child who's younger and naive, they are trying to pursue your child instead, right? There are also men who literally just want to be with a woman because it's a society. They are not attracted to even anything. She mentioned a lot of things that I wish I could include, but this woman literally was telling women to be careful of such men, but warning women of these men who are predators who prey on children mainly was her message. But there are also men who are secretly gay and do not want to admit it because of the world that they live in. 1, they are pressurized by family. 2, they are pressurized by the society. And 3, they themselves are fighting it. They are fighting that they are gay. They are fighting that they cannot be attracted to another man. How come does it feel natural for him to move out of his sexual orientation of being with a woman? It goes against everything that he's been taught. religious background, Christianity. So now he has to deal with his family, deal with the society, deal with himself. And then he comes home to you and the kids and he start being an abusive husband, an abusive, literally just goes out of his way to literally just hit you and get out of his frustration on you. So he's not mad at you. He's mad at himself that he cannot be himself. He starts punching the kids. He starts punching you because he's mad that he has his force to deal with you, and he's taking out his anger on you. And now he's mad. He's mad, and then he's taking out his frustrations, his anger on you because you're the closest person to him. And you can see it, he disguises it, right? And some other men, they've been violated before, right, by other men, and now they're going through an identity crisis, right? They're going through an identity crisis where they're trying to search themselves. Where this man would sleep with women and men, and then he finds that because of trauma, he's just not sure of where he is. If he finds a woman that he's with, like, he's not really into you, like he's off his on, like he's really not into you, but you'd see that click that he has with other men and stuff like that. So it's trauma as well, but we're not going to talk about that. But we're going to talk about men who are strictly gay. And there are also those as well who are knowingly gay, but they pursue women. So we'll say these men are bisexual, so they pursue men. But because of status and probably because they're politicians or maybe they're high class businessmen, they need a family orientation which is seen to be acceptable in the community. So these men would pursue women who would be the face. Like, and at night, this man does not care about you at all. Like, he neglects you. Like, he just married you for face, for you to just be the face of the family and, go to the greetings, business meetings and stuff like that. And for the community, the society, remember I mentioned 3 things. Like, those 3 things are important. What did we say? We say that family, we say that society, and then we say himself. We can also, society can also include religious background and all of those things that come to play. We can't just say forth religious background because the society does set the standards, which is coming from what? Religious background and how you are meant to behave in a society, to say the least. But I wanted to have this conversation and add a man who is a gay man and expand this conversation in length because I feel like it's an interesting conversation if you're a woman, right? Because these men will not come out and say it, and then you'll hear them say that they're dying in silence. No, it's the thing, the truth. You can lie to me, but you know the truth with yourself. You commute with yourself. You know the truth. You just don't want to accept it. And that is what is making a lot of these men very brutally violent towards women. Like, why would you, like, women are the easiest target to vent out their frustrations on. And I would encourage women at this point, like, start knowing how to utilize weapons. Oh my God. Start knowing how to utilize weapons. Start training yourself. Stop giving your safety to another person to protect you. Because these men are brutally violent, right? Even though there are women who also abuse children, but it's not at that extreme level where it is men. Because when you go in the streets, you don't fear other women, you fear men, right? No matter how you may think of women, that women have their own issues, but when you go out in the streets, you don't think that women will target me and do things to me. You don't think that. You think men. Even children, you think men. Men might lightly do this. Don't talk to a man or whatever. So let's add this guy so that we can have a conversation in length. Okay?
Controversial opinion. And honestly, I'm a little bit scared to say this one. But here we go. If queerness was more socially acceptable, a lot of your boyfriends would be dating their boys. No, like, no, like, no, like, no, like, no, like, no, like. A lot of your boyfriends actually have a deeper emotional connection to their homeboys, their amachita, their friends, than they do to you. And we see this all the time. We see this all the time. Homeboy will be excited. Homeboy will be excited to see his homies. And that's cool. That's cool. Like, we all got friends. But it's on a level of some of these men are way more vulnerable with their homeboys than they are with their partner. They're way more open and receptive to criticism, to information than they are with their partner. And again, this is cool. We all have platonic relationships that grow us and evolve us, and our platonic relationships, our friends, are just as important as our romantic partners. Harvard did a study, right, about happiness. And it's like the longest study on happiness, right? Where they follow people since they were like teenagers until they're like in their 80s. And essentially it said that in relationships, people who have strong relationships are more happy, right? This is not just romantic relationships, but platonic relationships too. You need to have a circle of people that you can go to sometimes when you can't go to your partner. But some of these men, girl, some of these men hate you. And they love their homeboys. Oh. So that's my theory. If queerness was more socially acceptable in society, right? Where you can just be like queer without societal judgment, without dismantling families. I mean, like this, like people get disowned, people get thrown out, people like. I believe that a lot of your boyfriends would be dating their homeboys. And maybe the realty here is having a conversation about why some of these men genuinely hate their girlfriends and still stay in relationships. Even worse, will hate their girlfriends and will marry them. And we remember this trend, like it was like a trend, I think like earlier this year, if like not like last year, where it was trending, where like it was like a whole thing of when you hate your girlfriend, blah blah blah, or when you start hating your girlfriend and da, 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 da. And it just makes me so confused, right? And so I started thinking to myself, why would a man stay with the woman when they are not feeling her like that? Like, Ice Spice, like, he thought I was feeling you, and he not, like, he hates you, actually, like, he hates your fucking guts. And I think it's a deeper thing of society, and I think also manhood. We are taught that you are not fully a man until you have certain things, right? Until you kind of have a sustainable job, until you have a house and the car and the wife and the kids. And so a lot of people subconsciously, a lot of men subconsciously kind of find themselves staying in these relationships because they feel like this is what you have to do in order to become what society deems a real man is. And I'm not trying to like inadvertently sexualize platonic relationships, because I think that it's actually really important that men are vulnerable with their male friends and that they feel like they're in a safe space to speak and be heard. And sometimes, let's be real, some of you women kind of put these men in these boxes where they can't be vulnerable. I think we've seen it even in Those horrible YouTube videos, those 20 versus 1 things, or those white room popping balloons, da 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 da, that when a man shows up with more sort of emotive qualities, and seems to be a more like well grounded human being, the balloons be popping. And I don't want to kind of make that very small pool of people who are in those white rooms the test subjects or the reflection of what all women are essentially seeking. But I think there's something to be said about how even women are actively feeding into the patriarchy and feeding into putting these men in these boxes where you gotta be strong, you gotta be a real man, and kind of allows, or rather kind of puts men in a position where they really can't be as vulnerable and don't feel safe to be vulnerable and speak about their insecurities with their romantic partner, because homegirl is deep in the patriarchy too. And there's something to be said about sexual attraction in itself, right? I've read this thing where basically it talks about how like at almost primal level, human beings can actually get turned on by the mere act of the bow chicka wow wow, and not exactly who's doing it. That's why like men will watch corn with like two women getting it down and like are really turned on by that and da 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 da. So theoretically, homeboy could get turned on by like the chocolate box. What a beautiful chocolate man. But society doesn't allow it, right? Like society generally doesn't allow that sort of thing to go down. Because I mean, fundamentally, right? Fundamentally, beyond kind of the human desire to procreate and whatever, essentially all of us, or at least I hope, all of us, when we are looking for a romantic partner, we are looking for someone that we can be ourselves with, that we can be genuine with, that we can be honest with, that we can be vulnerable with, and that we can grow with and actually build a life, right? And if it was just like socially acceptable for queerness to be a thing, right, without the stigmas and without the violence, right, that is happening to queer people, I think a lot of y'all boyfriends would not be your boyfriend anymore. And I think as a society, we need to make space for more of these experiences to happen or to be allowed to happen, because ultimately, everyone wants to be happy, right? And a lot of men are not happy in these relationships with these women. Like, real chat. And I think we'd live in a safer society if like people were just like able to build romantic connections based on more emotive qualities than survival qualities, right? When we're not in the jungle anymore, right? We're not like cavemen moving around society. We don't need to essentially only pick our romantic partners based on survival. But I think we need to create space, right? We need to create space for people to genuinely love, and love without any other sort of interference existing. But I have a strong feeling that if men were allowed to, they would. Like, they would just go with their homeboy and ride into the sunsets. And honestly, that should be okay. That should be okay. Because rather that than be in a relationship with someone that you hate.